cycle, what is actually happening is we are heating the inlet water supply. Heating the inlet water supply. We are raising the temperature of the inlet water. Inlet water before it was going to the boiler. So in Rankine reheat cycle, we are taking the steam and then reheating the steam, we are extracting the work. So in case of regenerative cycle, what we are doing is we are going to heat the water which is entering into a boiler. The water is entering into the high temperature and pressure. The Rankine cycle, it is observed that condensate which is coming out at the low temperature. It is a low temperature because normally 40 degree to 50 and is mixed with the hot water boiler, hot water, right? This results in decrease in cycle efficiency, right? Cycle efficiency will be less automatically. It is mixed with the water, right? Has very low temperature and it mixed with the hot water boiler. The result decrease in efficiency. To avoid this, the condensate which is coming out from the boiler is heated with the help of the steam. The water which is coming out from the condenser will be heated again. Right, by using the same steam which is coming out from the turbine. We are taking out that turbine steam. We are taking out part of the steam before it was performing complete work. We are trapping. We are bleeding out. The exact term is the bleed steam. We call it as bleeding steam. This type of known as regenerative cycle, right? So how it will going to be work, how the efficiency will be improved. We'll see how it will be improved. Previously we discussed about what is reheat cycle. Now we will see the regenerative cycle, right? So if you see this one, see here. So I am not going with the one. So I am taken multiple trapping. So I can go for multiple trapping places. Multiple points we are trapping the steam out. Multiple trap places we are trapping the steam out for performing the work. So if you see this one, the what steam is coming out from the boiler at the point number 1. As usual, it is here that the pump energy is there. From the pump is going to the boiler. From the boiler it is expanded in the high pressure turbine. So as it is expanded inside the high pressure turbine, what we are doing is we are not directly sending that whole steam into a condenser. We are going for regeneration process. We go for reheating also taken place. You can see that M1 amount of steam, right, is taken out. M1 amount of steam is taken out first. That steam is going for reheating process, some amount. So once M1 amount is taken out, the which is coming out from the high pressure turbine becomes 1 minus M1. Because if we are assuming 1 kg of steam entering into that boiler, in that after expansion the high pressure turbine, we are taking some part of the steam out. How much we are taking out? M1 amount we are taken out. So M1 amount is taken out means how much is remaining steam is going to be 1 minus M1. That 1 minus M1 is going for regeneration, right? So the remaining steam is going for reheating cycle. So again, if you are going this one, so again we are taking some amount of steam at the point number 5. How much amount? M2 amount I am taking. For my convenient, I can take. For your explanation purpose, I am taking one M1 first. We are taking out for reheat process, and again we will take some part in the low pressure turbine. M2 amount we are taken. That M2 amount is taken out, and after that in the 6th point also I am taking some bleeding step by step. I am going by step by step. First point, some is taken out at the point number 3, right, and some is taken out from the point number 4, some is taken at the point number 5, point number 6. We are taken out at the 3 different points. Right? In the high pressure turbine, we are taking at the only 1 point for regeneration, right, and 1 for reheating. 2 things I am doing in the, listen carefully, the high pressure turbine I am taken at the point number 3 as well as point number 2. Point number 3 is going for reheating. and point number 2 is for regeneration process. Point 3 is regeneration process, point 5 is regeneration process, point 6 is going for regeneration process. Point number 2, listen carefully, point number 2, point number 5, point number 6. Point number 2, 5, 6. Those are all the places I am taking the steam out for the purpose of reheating the feed water. So what we call as regeneration process. In the point number 2, how much I am taken out? I am taken out the amount of steam is going to be an M1 amount. And point number 5 I am taken out M2 amount. And then point number 6 I am taken out M3 amount. So M1 is taken out, M2 is taken out, M3 is taken out. 3 amounts, M1, M2, M3. So how much amount of steam is coming out from the turbine after expansion, low pressure, high pressure? I am taken M1, M2 and M3. So the remaining steam is 1 minus M1, M2, M3. That much amount only is coming for the condenser. So the amount of steam coming to the condenser is reduced. So the condenser performing its work efficiently. So what will happen? Automatically the cycle efficiency will be raised, improved up. So that was seen in this TS diagram. You can see for this TS diagram, see the CS diagram, the steam, right? Point number 15, right? In the point number 15, it was entering to the boiler. Point number 15 to 15, it start entering to the boiler. It is reaches the superheated steam, and then it is performing the work in the high pressure boiler. And then what I am doing is at the point number 2, you can see this point number 2, I am taking part of the steam for the reheating process. And the remaining steam, 1 minus M1 amount is coming here. That 1 minus M1 is going for reheating. Again it is coming to the low pressure turbine. The low pressure turbine, 2 points, as I already told, point number 5 and point number 6, I am taken out the steam. Why I am taking out the steam? To increase the inlet water temperature. We are using this. So finally how much is coming out? 1 minus M1 minus M2. So again we are taking M3. So the remaining is going to be 8 to 7. How much it is coming? 1 minus M1 minus M2 minus M3. See, this 7 to 8, which is coming to the condenser. Which is actually coming to the condenser is, we are removing M1 amount here, M2 amount here, M3 amount here. All the 3 places we are removing. So the condenser, how much is coming is 8 to 7 is going to be 1 minus M1 minus M2 minus M3 amount of steam. Right? So this is actually happening. So what is the work done? What is the work done by the turbine? So work done by the turbine will be calculated. So the first expansion is, if you see this one, you can see the first one. The expansion is taken place from 1 to 2. H2 minus H1. Right? So see this one, H2 minus H1. Next work is going to be another work is done. H4 minus H3. So H4 minus H3. Right? In the H4 minus H3, how much amount is taken place? That we have to check. H3 minus H4 is going to be how much amount, right? And how much amount of steam is used for it, because I am taken 1 minus M1 M2 is taken out for the future expansion, right? So remaining is only going and trapping for the purpose of regeneration process. First we are taking some part to the reheating. How much is going for reheating process? You can see here that work done H3, the H2 minus H3. So H1 minus H2. H1 minus H2, how much amount of steam? 1 kg of steam. But in case of 2 to 3 is how much? M1 is taken out. So it is going to be H2 minus H3. How much quantity? 1 minus M1. 1 minus M1 amount. So first one is 1 kg of steam. Listen carefully that formula. 1 kg of steam up to where? H2 up to H2. So 1 into H1 minus H2 plus how much this one? M1 is taken out. So H2 minus H3 into how much amount M1 is taken means how much? 1 minus M1. 1 minus M1. So that is happening in the high pressure turbine. So this one H2 minus, right? H1 minus H2. After that H2 minus H3, right? And afterwards, even if you see this formula, see H2 minus H3 how much? 1 minus M1 amount. And again if you going for another cycle, this cycle, you can see this one here, the heat work done by the turbine is going to be an H4. So M1 is already going back. So from H4 minus H5, H4 minus H5, how much amount of energy of steam? 1 minus M1 steam. Then again M2 is taken out. So again work is done. H5 minus H6. How much amount? M1 is gone, M2 is gone. Remaining is 1 minus M2 is the remaining steam. So that is the formula. That is the formula, right? 1 minus M1 minus M2, H6 minus H5. Then again, see the another expansion. H6 minus H5. How much amount of steam? M3 is taken out. So 1 minus M1 minus M2 into H6 minus H7. H6 minus H7. See this H6 minus H7, right? And pump work. You automatically know how much is the pump work done by the pump. You can easily find out. So how much is the work done by the pump? So these are all the work done by the pump. The first how much amount steam? H9 minus H8 into 1 minus M1 minus M2 is M3. Then again here H11 minus H10, how much amount? 1 minus M1 minus M2. Then again if you are coming here H16 minus H12, how much amount is going for? 1 minus M1 amount. 1 minus M1 amount only coming. So again if it is going, finally it is coming for 15, it is coming as a 1 kg. Coming as a 1 kg. Each and every step that will be added. So 1 minus M1 minus M2 is 8. Then again M3 is added. So at this point 1 minus M1 minus M2 only. Then again if your M2 is added, here 1 minus M1 only. So again if you're here it's M1 is added. So automatically in the point number 15 1 minus M1 is M1 minus M1 plus M1. So 1 kg. See this one, same thing is happened. 1 kg at the point number 15. Same 1 kg in the point number 15. So heat addition is taken place 2 stages. Heat addition is taken place in 2 stages. What are the stages? One is going to be an H15, right? So from this it starts to the 1. So 1 minus H1 minus H15, how much? 1 kg. Here there is a heat addition process. So H4 minus H3 in how much amount? M1 amount is subtracted, 1 minus M1. H4 minus H3 into 1 minus M1. 1 minus M1, right? So heat rejection in the condenser, H1 minus H2 minus H3, H7 minus H8, H7 minus H8. So we can easily understand. You can go step by step. You can easily understand how the heat energy is extracted and how much it will be utilized. So this is going to be a recycle as well as regeneration combined, right? Combined. Even if you go for another cycle, is what we call as advantages of this regenerated. What is the advantages? Everything will have advantages and disadvantages. The thermal stress set up by the boiler is minimized because sudden drop. If you have sudden drop, condenser sudden drop into the boiler, right, then 40 degree to 100 degree sudden rise will be happen. So if you are going with this, what will happen? The temperature rising will be uniform, right, gradual improvement. So because each and every step, you can see that there are 4 times I am taken, maximum I can take 6 times bleeding. Regeneration is taken for 6 times only I can build. I cannot go beyond it. If we are going for reheat, I can go for only twice. Reheat cycle bleeding the steam 2 times only I can take. In case of regeneration, 9 times I can take. 9 times I can take. You can bleed. We can do it. So the heating process of boiler tends to become reversible process. The heat rate is reduced. And because we are taken 4 times or 5 times, the requirement of condensation will be reduced. So automatically the condenser size is small. Due to addition of heater, greater maintenance is required because 3 or 4 heaters are coming. All are heaters. Regenerator is actually it is a heater. Like a condenser heat rejection, here it is going to be heat addition process. So many heaters are come, so little bit maintenance is required. We need more requirement of maintenance of those heaters. Right? Plant becomes more complicated because so many pipelines, so many things, it will be complicated even though efficiency is increased. Larger capacity boilers is required because sudden rise in temperature as well as the pressure, high capacity boilers are required for doing the regeneration process. Reheating process, the same size boiler we are reheating, right? So that is what we call it as reheat and regeneration cycle separately. Even this last also we are combined. So what is the combination? What is the combination of this? So regeneration and reheating will combine with the same cycle to increase the overall efficiency of the system. Overall efficiency will be improved. Overall efficiency will be improved if you are going for both reheat as well as regeneration cycle. If you are going for reheat cycle, the efficiency is increased by 10 to 15%. Regeneration cycle, the efficiency will be increased 10 to 15%. If I combine both, the efficiency previously, if it is 30% thermal efficiency of Rankine cycle, reheat, if you are doing only reheat, the cycle efficiency may be 40. Only if you are going for regeneration, the cycle efficiency may be 42%, maybe 42%. If you are going for combined both, the efficiency may be 50 or 56%. Combination of both, cycle efficiency will be better, right? So that is why we go for combined reheat as well as regeneration cycle. So see here the same thing what we are explained before. So coming out from the high pressure boiler, right? So some is going for reheating process, some is going for reheating process, and right, some is going for reheating. See here it is going for reheating. This cycle is going for reheating and then it is going for low pressure boiler. Some part of the steam is going for taken out from the high pressure boiler, it is going for the superheater again, it is coming to the low pressure. And here what will happen, some is bleed, some steam we are bleeding out in high pressure boiler, it is going for preheating the water. Again in the low pressure turbine we are taking some part of the steam for reheating as well as regeneration cycle, right? High pressure boiler we are taking the steam, right, from the boiler, from the pump it was pumping, it is coming to the boiler. The steam is converted into a superheated steam. The superheated steam is going for the high pressure boiler. In the high pressure boiler we are taking the steam, part of the steam for reheating process, and part is going for regeneration process. That reheated steam is again going to the low pressure boiler. From the low pressure also we are taking some part for regeneration, so remaining is going for the condenser. So that is what we call it as regeneration reheat cycle. Next we will see the binary vapor cycle. If you see the previous cycles, we are using only the boiler, right? In the boiler the water is converted into a steam. That steam is going for producing the electricity. Only one fluid we are using one fluid. That fluid is going to be water. But in the another cycle, if you see this high pressure boiler, the temperature is high, the pressure is also high. The temperature also high, pressure is also high. Right? Then what we are going to do is same fluid we are using for low pressure boiler also in this case, in the regular Rankine cycle. There is another cycle, what we call it as binary vapor. Binary means bi means two. We are going to use two vapors. So we have to identify the fluid in such a way that which is having high condensation temperature. High condensation temperature as well as the pressure. High pressure condensation as well as pressure. Our known fluid which meeting our requirement is mercury. Mercury has a high condensation temperature. As it has a high condensation temperature, the mercury has a high condensation. It has a high condensation temperature. Condensation temperature of the mercury is going to be 350 degrees centigrade. 350 degrees centigrade. So in the previous Rankine cycle and reheat cycles, we are seeing the temperature of the steam itself maximum we are raising up to 350 to 400 degrees centigrade because of restriction of the turbine blades melting temperature, right, dropping. So what we are going to do is we are going to use the mercury as well as the water. Mercury as well as the water in each cycle. We are going to use the two vapors, two cycles. Those two cycles will be combined together. If you are combining those two things, the efficiency of the system will improve. Efficiency of the system will be improved. So what is the characters it should have? Performance. To get the good performance, it should have high enthalpy of evaporation, good heat transfer characteristics, high critical temperature with low corresponding saturation temperature. This is very, very important. High critical temperature with low corresponding saturation temperature. Because at the level where it was converted from the liquid stage to the vapor stage, or from the vapor stage to the liquid stage, the temperature remains, right? The temperature remains constant. Same temperature will be maintained. That is what we call the saturation. But the phase change will be taken place from liquid to vapor or vapor to liquid. That temperature, at that temperature, the water temperature is 100 degrees centigrade, boiling point. The boiling point 100 degrees centigrade, go on heating the water, the temperature remains same. What will happen? The liquid is converted into complete to the vapor. The temperature remains same, but phase change will be taken place. That is what we call the saturation temperature. Latent heat addition. High condenser temperature. Freezing temperature should be below the room temperature. It should not freeze at the room temperature. If your room temperature freeze means it cannot flow. So that is why in these cycles we are using the mercury. We are using the mercury as a fluid. And water. Right? So this is what we call as binary cycle. You can see here the mercury pump. There is a feed pump. The pump which pumps the liquid mercury. So then it is going to the boiler. Where the liquid mercury, semi-solid mercury, is converted into a vapor. At 560 degrees, 70 degrees, what will happen? The mercury become vapor. That high temperature, high pressure mercury vapor is coming to the turbine. It's expanded inside the turbine. It performing its mechanical work. So after it is performing the mechanical work, it is coming out from the turbine as a vapor. That vapor temperature may be 360 or 370 degrees centigrade. At that 360 degrees centigrade, it is coming to the exchanger. That exchanger is nothing but it is a part of a condenser. Exchanger. So in the vapor having the temperature of 350 degrees centigrade. At that 350 degrees centigrade, what I am going to do is we are pumping the water. So that water is entering into the heat exchanger. In the heat exchanger, already the mercury vapor is at the temperature of 350 degrees centigrade. Here water temperature is at the normal room temperature, 40 degree. The temperature difference is 350, here 40 degree. So what will happen? It takes the heat from the mercury vapor. The water takes the heat from the mercury vapor. This water becomes vapor again. The water which is entering from the heat exchanger at the room temperature takes the heat from the mercury vapor, because mercury vapor condensation temperature is less than 350 degrees centigrade, right? Higher than 350 centigrade. So it takes that heat. It takes the heat. Water is converted into vapor. The mercury become liquid. Understand? So the mercury vapor is coming out the turbine is 350 degrees centigrade. The water entering is 40 degrees centigrade. So the temperature difference is 40 and 350. So the water takes a heat from the mercury vapor. So mercury becomes liquid. The water becomes vapor. Mercury drops down. Mercury temperature drops down by giving some of the heat to the water. This water will takes the heat. This water takes the heat from the room temperature. So as it was taking the heat, the water becomes a vapor. Water becomes a vapor. That water is coming to the superheater. That steam is expanded inside the turbine. There is no separate heating process for this water. This water takes the work done fluid of the first turbine. Work done fluid of the first turbine. First turbine work done exhaust. We call it as exhaust of the first turbine, having some energy. That exhausted energy will be taken back in the heater by the water. So it is performing the work. So see this one, the vapor power cycle. 3 to 4 is a mercury pump, 4 to 1 is heat addition in the mercury, and 1 to 2 is going to be an work done by the mercury turbine. Then 3 to 2 is going for the condensation and again pumping. So here this 2 and this 8, 2 and 8. So what is going to be in the 2 is going to be in heat removal process of the first cycle. 8 is going to be in heat addition. How the heat addition? It takes the heat from the point number 2. The 8 is taken the point number 2. The temperatures goes on raising up. Goes on raising up. Go on raising up. Right? So that is again expanded in the low pressure turbine. Again pumping. This cycle is separate cycle. This cycle is separate cycle. Both will not mingle. Both the liquids will not come into contact with each other. But thermal contact will be there. Thermal contact will be there. No mechanical contact. It's a thermal contact. The heat is transferred through the process of convection. Through the radiation process, and there is a conduction process, right? So that is what we call it as vapor cycle. See this one, how the efficiency will be increased. The first cycle efficiency is 1 minus first cycle, right? Some amount of is there. How much energy will be there for the first cycle? 1 minus efficiency 1 minus 1 minus efficiency 2. So both it will multiply, fractions are multiplied. That again it is going to be in fraction. Addition will be increased. Multiplication of fraction value will be reduced. So 1 minus reduced value, the efficiency will be more. So that is what we call it as a binary vapor cycle. So far we seen the Rankine cycle, Rankine reheat cycle, Rankine regenerative cycle, and then we have seen the binary vapor cycle. And next we will see this same binary cycle will be divided into 2 cycles, what we call it as toppling cycle and bottoming cycle. The same, these two are going to be toppling cycle and bottoming cycle, 2 cycles, right? See this one, there are 2 cycles. Are used, toppling cycle and bottoming cycle. What is toppling cycle? It's a regular cycle where water is taken out and is coming to the boiler, right? In the boiler, that water is converted into a superheated steam. The superheated steam is coming to the high pressure boiler and is expanding, right? After expanding, some part is going back for the regeneration and some part is going for reheating cycle. The first one is going to be performing the high pressure work on the high pressure boiler. After it is exhausting out, we are taken it for reheat process as well as for regeneration process. The top cycle is over, 1 cycle. Then bottom cycle, what is the heat available on the steam of the first cycle? What is the heat available on the first cycle is coming to the second cycle. We are utilizing that heat. Again we are heating it like a mercury and water. Then again it is going for the expansion low pressure turbine and the condensation process, and again regeneration process, again go back to the boilers. That is what we call it as toppling cycle, top cycle. Toppling cycle means top cycle, that mercury cycle, right? And the bottom one is going to be water cycle. Water cycle, that is the two cycles, toppling cycle. If you see this one, how the combined cycle is working, bottoming cycle and toppling cycle. Before the heat source is there, right? Heat source coming for the top cycle and performing some work. The exhaust of the top cycle, exhaust which is coming out, right? The steam which is coming out, or the vapor which is coming out the top cycle is used here to perform the work on the another cycle. So two times we are taking the work out, top cycle, bottom cycle. Then it is going for the heat sink. Heat source to the sink is not going to directly after performing the work on the one cycle. It is used for the two cycles, right? So that was explained here how it was working. So the same cycle we are explaining, the same binary vapor cycle, we are explaining into two parts, right? With the same fluid, we can use the same fluid here. In case of this cycle, we are using top and bottom cycle, we can use the same two cycles, two fluids, right? The process is continuous, right? Combined cycle, this is a toppling and bottom cycle, same like water and mercury cycle, right? So how the efficiency will increase? You can see this difference. You can easily find the difference. What is meant by efficiency? The efficiency of the first cycle, we can take it as E1 cycle. What is an efficiency? That is going to be an Q2 minus how much is work done on the cycle? Heat supplied divided by heat input, work done divided by heat supplied. How much is the work done? Q1 minus Q2. How much is heat supplied? Q1. How much is the heat supplied? Q1 is heat supplied. How much is the work done? Q1 minus Q2. So if you write that one efficiency, that is going to be 1 minus Q2 by Q1. So Q1 we can calculate as Q2, that opposite side. That efficiency will come this side. Efficiency will come this side. Q2 1 minus Q1 is equal to Q2 divided by 1 minus efficiency of 1. And similarly, efficiency 2 will be calculated. If we calculated how much is the input for this one, input is Q2. How much work done? Q3 minus Q2 divided by Q2. So then it is going to be 1 minus Q3 divided by Q2. If we calculated Q3, that is going to be coming down. So Q2 into 1 minus efficiency 2. So if we are substituting this value of Q2 in that value of Q2 there, first efficiency, substitute there, we can find the overall efficiency. Q2 value is there. So efficiency, overall efficiency, it is going to be a total efficiency. 1 minus Q3 minus Q1. So we know what is Q3 value, we know Q1 value also we know. Both the efficiency we calculated. So efficiency overall is equivalent to 1 minus efficiency of 1 into 1 minus of efficiency 2. The same formula if we are substituting the value of Q3 and Q1 in the last one, overall efficiency. So if we are assuming a cycle will have the efficiency, the first engine will have the efficiency of 40%. The second E1 is having efficiency 40 and E2 have the efficiency of 50%. Efficiency of 50%. If we are substituting the overall efficiency 1 minus efficiency 1 into 1 minus efficiency of 2, the first is 1 minus 0.4 is going to be 0.6. 1 minus 0 efficiency 2 is 0.5. 0.5, this is 0.6. 0.5, this will come as 0.6. So 5 into 6 how much? 0.3. So 1 minus 0.3 is equal to how much? 0.7. So efficiency is going to be 0.7. Then in percentage it is going to be 70%. So efficiency will be improved. The efficiency of cycle will be 70%. It cannot be obtained by the single cycle. It is not obtained by the single cycle. So if you are going for twice, multiple times, if you are extracting 2 engines, if you are using 2 cycles, if you are using, the efficiency will be improved to 70%. The efficiency of the Rankine cycle from 40% it was improved to 70% if you are going combined cycle. if you are going for combined cycle. The same toppling cycle for your example I am given. So the compressor, it will be compressed, combustor, it is going to be exhausted and expanded in the turbine, right? And again it is going for the heat recovery boiler. It's a heat exchanger. Heat recovery boiler is going to be heat exchanger. That's one part. The first part is going to be compressor, is a turbocharger. Compressor, combustion chamber, expanded in the turbine. After expansion, it is having some amount of heat energy. The flue gas will have the heat energy. That heat energy is used for recovery. By the another is what we call it as bottoming cycle. So that again the heat recovery of the boiler will be taken place. It is coming to the turbine, low pressure turbine. It is going to the generator. So the bottoming cycle, the primary fueling, the high temperature, thermal energy, the heat rejected from the process. Rejected from the first process, used for generating in the recovering boiler. Which is rejected from the first, it will place for the second. Even if we are going for a toppling cycle, or the low enthalpy steam is taken in the intermediate turbine. We are taking out the intermediate, that is going for the second cycle. Intermediate low we are taken for the process of reheating as well as regeneration. We are taking intermediate, we are bleeding the steam before it is performing complete work on the high pressure turbine. Why we are bleeding? To improve the efficiency. All of a sudden, if you are entering into one gate, it is very difficult to extract all the work. So we are taking some work out. So some is going inside. So how much is taken out, we have to calculate. According to that only M1 amount or M2 amount or M3 amount is taken, how much is taken for reheating, how much we have taken for regeneration. As already told, for regeneration we can take 9 times. For reheating we have to take only 2 times. Right? So that has to be keep it in mind. That is what we call it as toppling cycle and bottoming cycle. Right? So next class we will see what is meant by boiler. So we are discussing about the vapors now. So next we will see the boilers, the next topic. So how that particular vapor is generated, whether it may be a mercury vapor or it may be a water vapor, how we are going to generate, because both the vapors, mercury vapor or steam vapor, whatever may be the vapors, if you want to perform the work, we need high temperature as well as high pressure. How those things will be generated, that things we will discuss in the next class, is what you mean by boiler. So today we are discussed about only the cycles, vapor power cycles, how the vapor is working. All these things we discussed. So we will discuss how these vapors are generated in the next class. Thank you, students. Thank you.